Okay, so let's go. Tell me all about it.
So, Vicky and I have not spoken for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, for various reasons. And we're going to wish happy birthday to Vicky because she had a birthday.
Thank you.
And just before we came on, Vicky said, "Oh, so how have you been? Have you been all right?" And I was like, "Yes." And then I was like, "Wait. I started last week by falling down one set of stairs, and then on Saturday morning, I finished the week by falling down another set of stairs. I've fallen down the stairs twice last week."
Holy cow! Hang on a minute. Were you in heels? Because
I was okay. So the first one, I have my cabin in the garden, and there are no outside light, or there were no outside lights, or there were outside lights, but I couldn't get them to work because the smart switches had all disconnected. And so I was coming down the stairs again. I was all right coming up the stairs because I've got the light behind me from the house, but coming down the stairs, and the very bottom step is exactly at the point where there is a shadow. And so I thought I'd reached the bottom, and I took a slightly bigger step, and my heel hit the step and my toe went like that. And do you know what? I was not even remotely hurt. It was kind of, I know, but I was really gutted because I think if it had been videoed, it would have been like RuPaul's Drag Race worthy, because I just my toe went down and I was just like, this is good radio for people who aren't watching, but I just went and kind of ended up on the front of my shin, and then my back leg was still on the step below, and I was like, and I was just like there for a second, like, oh, am I dead?
I'm so glad. Do you know what? I didn't even check to see if you'd hurt yourself or not. I was just like, yeah, let's hear about this. It sounds great.
I mean, clearly I didn't, because I'm here and I'm like not in plaster or anything.
I might be in a wheelchair. I can't tell from here.
I'm in a chair with wheels. So that was that. And then on Saturday, I was coming down. Joe feels terrible. He feels like it's his fault. But I think this is actually, it is all relevant to ADHD, because I had the washing basket in my hands and I was coming down our solid oak stairs, which have like a dog leg at the end, like kite stairs. And Joe just came up like to the stairs below, and was like, "Oh, I've got something to show you." And I was like, "Oh, what?" It's like, "Oh, it's not like important, but it's just very cool." And I was like, "Oh!" And so I was like walking down the stairs in my socks, and I caught a glimpse of Joe's croc, which had a leaf sticking out of it, like a little flag, and it was like flapping around. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious!" And just totally, like, my foot slipped off, and I landed on. I don't know if I can show you this, because this was real bad. I knocked a chunk out of my elbow. But it's super swollen. And it bled so much, and it hurt so much, and it was just like, but I took like 90% of my weight on my elbow, so I haven't hurt my back or anything like that, so that's good. But it was just like, oh my god.
But yeah, I know what you mean there about how it is related to ADHD, because it's just if your focus is taken away from something important, like staying on your own feet, it can have terrible consequences.
But I mean, we laugh, but like, there's a proven thing about people with ADHD and being clumsy and proprioception and struggling with balance and with spatial awareness. And like, I rip pockets all the time. I rip holes in my clothes because I just catch them on door handles and stuff. Always covered in bruises, like going everywhere too quickly, not paying attention. So yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. Often says to me, "Where did that bruise come from?" And I'm like, I can't remember.
Anything.
Yeah, but isn't it one of those things that you just think, oh, that makes sense now, because I just was not there in my head. I was And it's also, like, do you think that translates to things like parallel parking your car and that kind of thing? Or are you good at that?
I don't know. No, I'm good at some aspects of that kind of thing, and I'm not very good at reversing, because I don't believe the mirrors, and I don't believe the camera on the car, and like, I just can do this, and then I end up like in a ditch. So
I love the way you don't believe them. That's great.
I know, but I know better than the technology that is literally just measuring things. I don't.
It's going to go with a gut feeling. I spiritually park my car.
No, but that's how I do my laundry as well. So it's like I pour the laundry liquid in, and I just pour until I feel in my soul that is enough.
It's brilliant. Do you do that with gin, or you don't drink as much as you used to? Did you?
I do that with sweets. Like I don't crave sweets when they're not there. But if there's an open packet of sweets, I will eat all of them all at once. Joe called me a crocodile the other day. So he's like, I says I'm like a crocodile on crack when it comes to an open bag of sweets. And so I'm just like,
yeah. You know what? I mean, I don't even know if it's an ADHD thing or not, but I'm very much the same with open packets of everything. I'll tend to want to finish them. And even when I'm like 3/4 of the way through, I think, what's the difference between stopping now and stopping at the end of the packet? It's going to end at some point. So end it yourself, woman. And it's like, no, I will not end until it's over.
Yeah, and I'll eat until I feel sick. But if the packet is not open, I'm fine.
Yes. Yeah, the packet can be there in the cupboard and not open. It's easier when it's not open than when it is, because it's just like a free-for-all, isn't it? As soon as something's open.
Yeah.
Do you think that's ADHD related, or is it just
greedy?
It's greedy cows.
I don't know. I think it's an impulse control thing.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we should investigate this. They say, and then they won't because I'll forget. But
we always say we'll investigate things and then we completely forget from one week to the next. But it's fine. That's the way we roll.
So anyway, like that was I fell down the stairs twice. But did we have any? What did you want to talk about today? Did we have anything?
Oh,
because if we didn't, I do have something. But
you start because that might remind me of things.
Okay, so I had a learning experience on Saturday, yes, otherwise known as a complete meltdown. So the day had
experience of growth.
It was an experience of growth, and it taught me and Joe something really useful, actually, because obviously the day started with me falling down the stairs, which wasn't ideal, but then we drove all the way up to Delamere Forest, which is beautiful in Cheshire, and it was for his family thing, and like there were loads. Joe's got a massive family, so there are loads of them in these cabins in the forest, and we had been invited to go and stay with them, but we couldn't for various reasons, so we were like, oh, just go for the day, and there was like 12 people in the one cabin, and that is really difficult for me anyway because it's a lot of people all in one space. And I didn't know any of the plans, and I've been asking Joe for literal weeks to be like, can you find out exactly what we're doing so that we know? And he had not done it. And so we got up there to find that they were having a barbecue and we hadn't brought any food. And at that point I just had like a proper, because I was really socially anxious anyway, and I just had like a proper meltdown, and I couldn't hear what was going on because there were several different conversations in the same room, so I couldn't hear anything. And so Joe was like, oh, we'll just pop down to the shop. And we popped down to the shop and I just lost it on the way. I was just like, I can't be here. I need to go home. I can't go back there because I'm humiliated. And, they're all going to think I'm an asshole. And I could hear them talking about me in the kitchen. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I had thought I had. And because I'm the only vegetarian, you see. And so there was a whole thing, and so I was like, I can't go back there, I'm going for a walk. And I basically just spent the next few hours in the forest walking, and I did 5 miles, and it was beautiful because it was a beautiful day, and I was kind of alternately crying and enjoying myself because that's how I roll. And making up in my head all of the terrible things that people were saying about me, which of course they were not. And so, but anyway, long story short, I think that was partly social anxiety, partly ADHD, partly little autistic meltdown. And the upshot of it was that on the way home, or when we were walking around, because Joe came to find me in the woods because I was literally running away from him because he had to find my phone on.
This is great.
And it was like, you can imagine the Benny Hill theme tune. I was like, so yeah, we had this conversation, but actually, I think what I need for any social event that I don't organise I need to know exactly when it's happening, where it's happening, what is expected of me, what I
Mhm.
need to bring, what time it's going to finish, who's going to be there,
Mhm.
and what what the rules are. Because this is
Okay.
the thing with me, is like, I don't understand the rules. And for things like weddings, it's like, there's fixed rules. I know what's expected. I need to turn up, I need to wear a frock, I need to bring a gift.
Mm.
That's cool. But for like smaller social gatherings, the rules change every
Mhm.
time, they're different. And so I just find it so stressful. And it's taken me all of these years to realize why I avoid social gatherings like that, because they're
Right.
I just find them hard and scary, and a lot, because it's very people-y, but I can deal with that if all of the other stuff is under control. And
Yeah.
so it's just like, right, from now on, and whenever I'm invited anywhere, I'm just going to send them a little questionnaire and be like, okay, what is required of me? What do I need to wear? Because that's another thing that I get really stressed about,
Mhm.
is like, dress codes, what's appropriate and what
Yeah.
isn't. Because I remember going to a wedding once. Oh my God, this needs to go in my stand-up. I remember going to a wedding once, and the dress code was casual. And so I turned up
Was
in a
it?
really, yeah. And because it was taking place in a bar, and so I turned up in a pair of jeans, nice jeans, and a top. I was obviously the only person wearing a pair of jeans. Everybody else was in nice frocks and things, and
Oh,
I
for
just wanted
God's
to
sake.
die. I know, but like for me, that was, do you know what I mean? So it's like all of these unwritten little social rules, right?
Yeah.
Casual did not obviously mean what. So I was just like, whatever. And
Yeah.
and so yeah, I'm gonna make myself a little you know, ADHD questionnaire that I'm going to send out to people when I get invited to things.
That's a really good idea to do that, because like you say, it can be incredibly draining trying to preempt all the different things that could be happening on top of peopling.
Yes.
Yeah, and also there will be times when you get caught out where there's something that you haven't thought of that's going to happen, and that's the sort of like the important time to remember that the stuff you create inside your head isn't necessarily what's happening, is it? It's not the facts, it's just a thought. And it's that can be the hardest bit to do, is just to put that down and to recognize, because it can feel such a physical thing, can't it? That anxiety, it's it very much reminds me of a social situation I've been in this weekend. I'm classroom assistant now at my hypnotherapy course.
Ooh.
Which involves a heck of a lot of peopling for all weekend, and in the evenings as well, or just on the Saturday evening actually. But what we did was we went to a Wetherspoons for our evening meal with the classroom assistants and a couple of the guys who were staying overnight, and I almost had a meltdown there. I was trying so hard to be engaged in conversation, but the level of noise in the place, and there was also things like, we were right next to the place where they were doing all the glasses, and I'm sure they were basically just taking all the glasses and throwing them into a metal sink, and it was just like, and these were people I didn't know very well. It's not like being amongst a group of friends where you can just like tune out. It's like people were trying to talk to me. And in that situation, and I was like, my social battery is just like,
yeah.
But I felt quite proud of myself that I was the first to leave, because it's been a thing with me for a long time. I never like being the first to leave, because I feel kind of rude. But it was like, I'm out of here. I got to go. And it was only like 8:30. I was like, thank you, this has been lovely, but I'm off. And I felt quite proud of myself that I gave myself permission to go, this is not the right environment for me, I have to leave.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
It's ridiculous though, isn't it? Because it's like, oh, I'm rude if I leave first. It's like, well, somebody's got to leave first. Why is it rude?
You just make this story in your head, don't you? People are going to think, oh, what's up with her?
Yeah. It's like, actually, I've had enough of all of you. And that is the literal truth. And it's like, not in a horrible way. It's not that I hate you, but I've literally had enough of everybody.
Yeah. But what was sweet was that somebody left at the same time as me. She said, oh, I can't cope with the noise in here either. And I kind of gave her permission to get up and go as well, which was good.
Oh, it's a kindness. It's like be the person, because like obviously you're not probably going to stand up and go screw you all. It's you, and you're the problem. I'm leaving. But maybe that was part of what makes us feel bad though, because like it literally is the other people that are the problem, and maybe it's like, oh, I don't want to make anybody feel bad. What if they can hear me thinking it, which is obviously ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's like it is them, but it's not them, it's the situation. And so it's maybe that's part of why we feel so bad.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that is I had to download a new app and order all my stuff on an app, which is never good for me, because I'm just like, I was having to do it all inside the noise with people trying to talk to me at the same time, trying to use a new app. That fucked my head up.
Oh my God. Do you know what? Because we're talking about this like noise thing, and it's kind of related to everything that we're talking about. I have found this amazing thing on Instagram that perfectly, it's like an ADHD overstimulation simulator, and it's so clever. And I just wondered if it would be possible to like share the screen and play it.
I'm actually feeling a little bit anxious about the thought of being overstimulated now.
Well, hang on a sec. Hang on. Okay, so right. Oh, hang on.
Conversation in a noisy place like a mall or cafe, and you no longer have the ability to ignore irrelevant stimuli. Background noise is suddenly the same volume as the person you're talking to. Your brain feels overloaded by everything in your visual field, and it's causing your heart rate to digging through your skin. Now ignore everything that's happening and focus only on what I'm saying. Are you still listening? You know it's rude to not make eye contact. You just need to try harder to focus. Why are you so tired? You didn't even do anything today. You're so lazy. Imagine constantly being told these things. Well, I can. Welcome to the brain of someone with ADHD.
So I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that yesterday, and I was like, I am literally going to send that to everybody that ever kind of says anything about, oh, it can't be that bad, I don't know what it's like. It's like, that is exactly what it's like.
Wow. Oh my God, that took me, I was back in spoons at that point.
So I did not mean to re-traumatize you, but yeah, if anybody is kind of watching this and thinking, oh, it can't be that bad, nobody likes noise, it's like, that is a really good simulator of what it's like. You literally cannot separate out the sounds, and it's everything all at the same volume, and added with all of the other ridiculous social anxiety.
Yeah, that's wow. That's such a good, that is just life, isn't it? That is our life. And I had no idea that it wasn't like that for everybody before I understood what, the condition. It's like, wow. And I used to look at people like enjoying themselves in restaurants and thinking, why are you enjoying this hellhole?
I know, and it's like, in really noisy places, I know that most people can struggle in really noisy places, but it's like that was an extreme example, but that is what it's like for me. Even if there's another conversation going on the other side of the room, plus some, like, I don't know, lawnmower or something, it's all at the same volume for me, and there is no brain filter there, and I think that's what that does a really good job of. So
yeah, it does, and it's not even loud noises, is it? When I was in the classroom yesterday, every so often, the tutor was switching on his overhead projector, which just made this low hum. And the feeling of relief I get when it's switched off is like, oh, I can breathe again. I don't realize how much that kind of is just like messing with my head.
Yes, I will hear noises. I don't know if you're like this with Kev, but I will hear a noise and I'll be like, can you hear that? And Joe's like, can I hear what? And I'm like, that. And he's like, well, what is it? And I'm like, it's like a really low buzz. And he's like, listen for a while. And I'll be like, oh my God, is that the fridge you can hear? And I'll be like, it needs to go. And I will hear the fridge from 2
Yes.
rooms away, and he's just like, "How do you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't want to." It's not a superpower. It's like,
Talking about fridges, it was something when I was staying in the hotel on Saturday night. They had a fridge in the room, and it had some lovely cold water in it, but it was kicking on and off, and I was in bed every time it came on. My eyes were open, and I was like, "Fucking fridge!" But I thought I really like the cold water as well. So it's like, do I stay with the pain of the fridge going on and off, or do I enjoy the cold water? I had to turn the fridge off in the end because it was making me die inside.
yeah. So you need your sleep, man.
Yes, yeah, but isn't it weird? This I mean, I don't know how common it is with ADHD. This sort of like sensitivity to noise.
I do know.
But
I do know it's a comorbidity with autism, and like I think that's probably part of the reason why I'm so oversensitive. But I think I've spoken to a lot of people, yeah, who just, I guess, the overstimulation thing. So I'm extreme. It's like a huge trigger for me. But for the overstimulation thing with the noise and the not being able to, like, the auditory processing issue is what I think is a very ADHD trait, is that kind of sensory processing.
right, yeah, no, it just drains the battery, doesn't it?
It does.
And
it does.
Yeah. And are you similar with visual overstimulation, or do you find the hearing is the worst thing?
Hearing's the worst, but I used to wonder about this, and now we're talking about it. It's like I get really angry when the sun's too bright.
Oh,
and so it's just like, oh, because I love sunlight, because sunlight's great. But if I'm kind of driving and it's dazzling, it's not just, oh, I'll just flip the thing or I'll put my sun. It makes me angry. And I think it's because it's that like overstimulation. Like I've never liked the big light. I call them the big lights, the big lights on in the room, because they're too much. And like at the end of the day, I get really snappy with Joe if he puts the big lights on, or if we go to the beach and brush our teeth, we've got little soft lights and then we've got big spotlights, and I'm like, we're not allowed to have spotlights on when we're brushing our teeth before bed, because it's too bright, it's too much. So yeah, it's everything. And being touched as well. Like if there's noise and then you touch me and then something happens in my face, like I will explode.
Right. Yeah, isn't it weird how it can just like compound on you and just feel like but you don't necessarily recognize what's happening until you're past the point of being able to control yourself. It's like,
No, well, do you know what? It feels like being attacked, though. It feels like an attack. It's like an assault of everything all at once coming at you from all angles and from all sides and all of your senses. Like smells have the same effect on me. Like I'm really sensitive to smell, and so like if there's I don't do parkrun anymore because I couldn't cope with the smell of other people's washing powder coming past me and being in like a group of, like, I cannot bear like fabric softener. It's disgusting. It's like, it's unnecessary. It's a marketing ploy. It doesn't do anything to your clothes except for make them slimy and shit, and it stinks. And it's just like, so I use unscented laundry liquid, and I really struggle, like when we stay at other people's houses and their laundry smells of laundry liquid, I'm like, it literally makes me gag. It's horrible.
Wow. You know what, I'm okay with laundry.
Oh,
I actually I buy scented candles that smell of laundry.
You see, now a scented candle that smells of laundry I like, because it smells of like ozone. It's like that ozony smell, isn't it? That kind of fresh linen smell. Nobody's laundry ever smells like that.
Oh, this smells like over perfumed flowers and things to you. Yeah. No, there are. I think one of the smells that I really struggle with, and I seem to be able to detect it like from several meters, is unwashed hair.
Oh, really? What does unwashed hair smell like?
I don't make. And it might not be everyone's unwashed hair, but if I think I don't know. I must be sort of relating it to an experience I'd had with somebody in particular.
Yeah.
But there's a certain smell that goes with somebody who hasn't washed their hair for a long time that just it absolutely upsets me. I have to hold my breath.
You become a hair sniffer now.
Oh yeah. No, it's. I mean, there must be some kind of chemical given off or something that upsets me. But
yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be that strong, but if I get a whiff of it, like out in crowds, like standing next to somebody in a queue, I'm like, can't bear it.
Other people are dirty fuckers. Like, no, they really are. They really are. Because in COVID, you know how there's always a massive line outside women's toilets, and there's never a massive line outside men's toilets. Part of it is to do with space and urinals, and sexist design and all the rest of it. But during COVID, they found that lines were almost as long in the men's toilets as the women's toilets. Guess why?
Because they washed
their hands during COVID. So yeah, if you're a man listening to this, you dirty fucker, wash your hands. And if you're like, oh, I'm not one of those men, talk to your friends, because they definitely are, because so many of it is, oh my god. So yeah, people are crowds of people, many reasons that I don't like them.
Oh, can you imagine not washing your hands? Oh, can they have to hold it in? Oh.
And like men's excuses were like, oh, and you went for a wee, and it's like, you're in a public toilet. Literally everything you touch in there is a disease vector. It's like,
yeah. Oh, it makes me. The next networking event I go to, I am not shaking hands.
You should stand outside. Like one day, I'm like, how many fucks do I now give about anything? And it's getting less and less day by day. But like next time I'm at an event, I might stand outside the men's toilets and be like, you washed your hands. You washed your hands.
You're gonna be the hand wash police. I love it. Or
I might get a sign that kind of says, "Have you washed your hands, you dirty pig?"
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, so and the queues in the men's toilets aren't long anymore, are they? They're just. No, come on, guys. I mean, I'm sure there are some women that don't, but I don't spot many. No,
I don't think I've. That's the kind of thing I noticed. I don't think I've ever noticed anyone come out of a stall in a women's public toilet and not wash their hands.
No.
Obviously, haven't been in that many men's. I go in the men's sometimes because if there's a massive queue and I'm desperate for a wee, I'm gonna go wee. But yeah.
Maybe women only do it if there's nobody else in the hand washing area.
I don't like to think. Maybe.
No, ladies, women are all good. Wow, we've managed to be like completely like just black mark all the people in one area of the sex genders, haven't we? The sex genders.
Yeah, but like this is backed up by actual figures and research. It's like hashtag not all men, yes, blah blah blah. But like this is backed up by figures. It's backed up by figures. So yeah.
Yeah. Stats don't lie.
Sometimes they do.
No. I might get some complaints about this, about how just horribly sexist we've just been, but
well, do you know what? If it doesn't apply to you, if you're a man who washes your hands, I don't know why you would be cross about it. If you're not a man who washes your hands and you're angry about it, maybe ask yourself why that might be.
Yes, exactly. See why you're triggered. Do some inner work.
Yeah, do the work.
Oh, anyway, darling, lovely to speak to you as always. And
to you. Well done for the whole, leaving early. That's good.
Thank you, and well done for not killing yourself on stairs this week.
Thanks.
Yeah, be careful, be safe, make good choices, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.